If you're working 40 plus hours a week and still don't feel wealthy, you're not alone. Wealth isn't just about a big paycheck, it's about freedom. But if your entire income depends on clocking in, then what happens when you can't? If your job let you go tomorrow, how would you pay rent? If you broke your leg and couldn't walk, how would you eat? If you wanted to travel for 2 months, how would you cover your mortgage and hotels? That's why building alternative streams of income, especially passive income, isn't just smart, it is very necessary. And in this video, I'm breaking down 7 ways to do it, starting with the hardest one, but potentially most rewarding. So the first one is investing in rental real estate. This one takes work, but let's break it down simply. You buy a property, not to live in, but to rent out. Let's say you find a $200,000 home, and yes, that does exist. All right. For example, in Metro Detroit, you can find properties at that price point every single day. All right. You rent it out for $2,000 a month. Now, of course, you've got expenses, property tax, insurance, maintenance because stuffs break. Okay. Management fee. So you're not the one they're calling by 2 a.m., in the morning for whatever they might need. And of course, vacancy costs. So let's say that all adds up to $1,000 a month. That leaves you with $1,000 a month in net income. So that's cash flow income, whether you're working, on vacation, or asleep. And no, you don't need all $200,000 upfront. You can use financing. But for simplicity, let's assume you bought it all in cash. So here's the thing. Real estate is not easy in the beginning. You've got to learn how to work with contractors, property manager, how to navigate city codes, and the whole game in general. But once you've got your system down, you buy a property, hand the keys to your manager, and you meet quarterly to review the numbers. And that's it. If you're willing to go through the learning curve, this can be a long-term wealth machine. So investing in real estate without managing it, how do you do this? All right, maybe you love the idea of real estate, but hate the hands-on work. Good news, you can still invest passively. And here is how. We have the syndication deals. Attend real estate investor conferences. You will meet developers, you meet investors looking for funding. All right, you invest in their deals. Even if it's a small amount, you invest in their deals, all right, even a small amount, and in return, you get a share of the profit or cash flow. So you don't manage the property, they do. The next one is crowd-funded real estate. Platforms now let you invest $10, $100, even $1,000 into large real estate deals through the internet. All right, so you get a slice of the returns with zero landlord responsibilities. The next one is REITs. I'm talking about the Real Estate Investment Trust. This is the most hands-off, all right? You're buying stock in a company that owns real estate. Because of the 90% rule, REITs are required to pay out 90% of their profits to shareholders, which usually means steady dividends. The third one is dividend-paying stock, all right? Let's talk stocks, specifically company stocks that pay you just for owning them. All right, take AT&T versus Uber. Uber reinvests profits back into growth, while AT&T gives a chunk of the profit to shareholders. So that's the dividends phase, and that's what you are after here, okay? You buy shares and you collect dividends, and then you reinvest or spend as passive income. If AT&T pays 4% and you invest $100,000, you earn $4,000 a year without lifting a finger. It is not get-rich scheme, but it's get-rich consistently, week after week, month after month, year after year. That's how your money starts printing more money for you from the comfort of your home. So number 4, dividends, ETFs, and funds. All right, don't want to pick individual stock. You can also invest in funds that do it for you. Some examples, it's not financial advice, it's just an example. SCHD, that is by Schwab's. We also have the VYM by Vanguard. We also have the NOBL that is focused on, dividends aristocrats. I'm talking about companies that have increased dividends for over 25 years. So you get exposure to dozens or hundreds of dividends paying companies in one slot. So if one company tanks, you're protected by the rest. So lest you get exposed to dozens or hundreds of dividend-paying companies in one shot. If one company tanks, you are protected by the rest. So less risk and more simplicity. So number 5 is subscribe to my YouTube channel now and drop a comment on what side hustle I have missed so far. All right, number 5, the real number 5, lending your money. So this is the part where you become the bank, all right? Let's say someone needs funding for a real estate flip. You lend them the money, they pay you in interest, and you secure your loan with the property as collateral. Okay, I'll just take that again, all right? Don't lend to your broke cousin who wants to buy designer shoes, all right? Lend to investors with a plan and make sure you're protected. There are peer-to-peer lending platforms that make this more accessible. Just search around but always understand the risk. Higher returns often mean higher chances they don't pay you back. So you need to make sure that your returns is a bit lower so whoever is borrowing money from you can be able to actually pay back in real time. Number 6, royalties from content. These ones is part passive and part upfront hustle. All right. You create a content, either a book, a course, or a YouTube video or a podcast. And if it has value, it can keep paying you long after the work is done. So I'll use YouTube as an example. All right. I made videos for a year and I'll use YouTube as an example. I made videos for a year and a half before. Okay, sorry. I'll use YouTube as an example. I made videos for a year and a half before I saw my first check under $500. Today, if my channel made $1,000 in a day, I'm asking what exactly went wrong. So content you make now can earn you money from time to time. Talking about from the YouTube ad revenue to sponsorship, to licensing deals, to other platforms. It's not easy, it takes consistency, but if you hit it, it pays you for years. Number 7, licensing and digital assets. So this is similar to royalties, but even more niche, all right? You can license your music, your stock, your stock photos, or even your drone footage, all right? You need to create it once, upload it, and every time someone buys the right to use it, you get paid. Again, the catch is the upfront work, not results for weeks or months. But if you stick to it, you could build a digital asset that pays you forever. These 7 strategies aren't quick fix. They take work, they take patience. But if you want true freedom, not having to trade your time for money, this is the roadmap you should follow. Pick one, master it, and you'll be one step closer to real wealth. If you want a deeper dive on any of these strategies, hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comment section what topic I should talk about next. I'll see you guys in the next video and have a very wonderful time. Bye-bye.